Honestly, the CD that you see is the work that I do outside of school, but sometimes the line for me is great. This is called the Latin Jazz Youth Ensemble. Everybody should have a CD. Now, when I started this group, one of the things that I had with the other leaders, there's 3 directors, I said, I'm not going to start a group based on meritocracy, meaning that if the kid has potential and the desire, I'm going to keep him. And so, well, the kid can hardly play, he doesn't practice. You mean, they would tell me, you think he doesn't practice, but we don't know that for sure, but by osmosis, these kids got better. Not only did they get better, but they also learned responsibility because I required all of them to teach the next group of kids that would come in. Okay? And, we're a grassroots group, but one of the benefits I've seen with this program by eliminating the meritocracy part of it was that a lot of these kids got into SOTA, School of the Arts, kids that we, like Akil, who didn't think, couldn't really read, came to my house. I told him, look, you come get your mom to take me to my house, come to my house once a week for 30 minutes to teach you how to read. Okay. He got in, and now he's one of my better teachers. And this is a kid, Jake, you know how Akil was. It was a big pain in the rear. I asked him to leave the group for a little bit because he was acting immature. Not only that, but these kids actually made SF Jazz All-Stars, which is like the big Bay Area wide jazz all-star with SF Jazz. Okay? My challenge is, with this group, the phone is ringing off the hook, and all these kids want to join. Guess what kind of kids want to join? Parents of means are calling me every week. My challenge is, how do I get the kids from Daniel Webster ready to get in that group? I've had that group. We've had that group for 10 years. I run it with a friend of mine, Arturo Riera and Sylvia Ramirez, big part of the community. We had one kid from Daniel Webster over the years. His name was Darcel Epps. He was a really good drummer who went to Washington. And it was, like I said, it's really difficult because the support system, it takes a lot more for me to reach those kids. Not because they're not talented. My kids at Daniel Webster, and I have no reason to hold back to think that those kids are just as talented or even better than the other kids that I have. The problem is that I can get them to all qualify for the All City Festival, Rob. I can't always get them there. Okay? And that's my biggest challenge. Okay? I got them to believe that they're going to be the best, right? That's high expectations and rigor. Okay? It's not so much about competition; it's about expecting results. Okay? If you read through the CD, it talks about the cultural part of it. For me, music is a vehicle for social change and connection. It's not so much about being all-star. I could care less if these kids ever become professional musicians, but I was able to get some of these kids. At Sanchez Elementary School, I saw this kid, we're talking about modeling. This kid was a really good trumpet player, so I got him a CD of Roy Hargrove. Another one played clarinet. I got him a CD of Don Byron. 2 African-American jazz musicians. I got him into Stanford, right? It takes that kind of personal relationship more so than just being a teacher. And when I read through the 4 R's, I go, Martha, isn't that what we grew up with? Weren't we taught that by our elders? It's more than that, I went over to Jake's class the other day. It's just like, well, there's this kid that wants to get into SOTA. So I make a beeline to him and I'm going to say, okay, this is what you need to do. I'm going to help mentor you to get into the School of the Arts. All right? This is part of my responsibility being in the community. So, I don't know. I mean, that's kind of my spiel. I can't just be the music teacher. I got to see that this is part of my community. I have no shame about it. I need to explain that to anybody? Do I really? And do I look like a, smack or sucker free? No. I mean, this is part of what I was taught to do, right? I don't need to explain it to anybody when I do this. I'm out the door. I don't need to explain it to you. So, questions?
Could you make some of these videos available for us? Could we get to them?
Any of
sort
those
of a best
videos,
practices?
any of those clips that John gives us permission for, we're going to make accessible.
That would be cool for best practices, how to do that.
Yeah, there's also a great book by Lucy Green. She's from England. It's called Music and Formal Learning in the School. How do we take informal learning, or the African tradition, or the oral tradition, into the classroom? So, I'll pass those around. This one has a great title. I like that book better. It's called, this is actually a really good book, How Popular Musicians Learn. Right? I learned more just by setting down my instruments in my garage sometimes than I did with my band teacher. I was a classical music major. I was a composition music major. I love classical music. I mean, how many of you guys really spend a lot of time listening to classical music? Okay. How many of you guys listen to more popular music? Okay. Studies show that more people listen to popular. It doesn't mean that we should only teach popular music, but the dominant narrative from the academy, from the university all the way down is, no, we got to do the band method. Bellman band method, page 1, boom, 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 boom. I tell my kids, forget the book. You can't play Allegro, we'll write our own piece. If it's that hard today and we're banging hits on the wall, let's try something different.
Give it up, give it up, give it up! Much more to come. That's just a little preview. At 2 o'clock sharp, we will start the open mic, so get ready.